what I found to be kind of alarming, and this is just a few days ago. It's commercial probably here first. Yeah, it's commercial here. And I'll play it when it's not a commercial. Right now. Right. So, what people need to understand is who's in control of this kind of power, right? Nuclear fusion. Who are the ones that are running these facilities? And it's not you, it's not I, it's not the 99%. That's the biggest problem. You're leaving it in the hands of these billionaires that are the people that have the money to make this stuff possible. I mean, if just watching the first 3 or 4 minutes of this is just, it's amazing the amount of money, resources, and energy that goes in to this, to all of this, right? Because there's a climate crisis, of course.
Last month, the nearest star to the Earth was in California. In a laboratory, for the first time, the world's largest lasers forced atoms of hydrogen to fuse together in the same kind of energy-producing reaction that fires the sun. It lasted less than a billionth of a second, but after 6 decades of toil and failure, the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory proved it could be done. If fusion becomes commercial power one day, it would be endless and carbon-free. In other words, it would change human destiny. As you'll see, there's far to go, but after December's breakthrough, we were invited to tour the lab and meet the team that brought star power down to Earth.
The story will continue in a moment.
Uncontrolled fusion is easy. Mastered so long ago, the films are in black and white. Fusion is what a hydrogen bomb does, releasing energy by forcing atoms of hydrogen to fuse together. What's been impossible is harnessing the fires of Armageddon into something useful.
I love that. I want to hear that again.
What's been impossible is harnessing the fires of Armageddon into something useful. Forcing atoms of hydrogen to fuse together. What's been impossible is harnessing the fires of Armageddon into something useful.
Harnessing the fires of Armageddon to bring something useful. I think it would depend on who's running the show, right? I mean, you know what? Let me check something here.
The U.S. Department of Energy's Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory helps maintain nuclear weapons and experiments with high-energy physics. An hour east of San Francisco.
Wait, what?
The U.S. Department of Energy's Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory helps maintain nuclear weapons and experiments with high-energy physics.
You know, so that right there, they work with nuclear weapons, and now there's no, it's, I'm sure once they get once they get the fusion reactor running, you know that's going to be used for good and not evil. You guys know that, right?
An hour east of San Francisco, we met Livermore's director, Kim Budell, in the lab that made history, the National Ignition Facility.
The National Ignition Facility is the world's largest, most energetic laser. It was built, starting in the 1990s, to create conditions in the laboratory that had previously only been accessible in the most extreme objects in the
Wars director, Kim Budell, in the lab that made history.
Wait a second, I'm going to check something. NIF. Budell. NIF. Let me see if that's right. I think I spelled that wrong. Let me see if they. Let me check something here. Budell. Duh. Whatever. Kim B. Her name.
This Women's History Month, the U.S. Department
Climate Action with Eleanor. Okay. Kim B. It's Budil. Okay. Now let's go another step. Here we go. Ready? Watch this. I always do this with these people that run these facilities, and I always seem to come up with. I could be wrong. This is the first time I'm searching, so we could be. Oh look, Kimberly Budil, part of the World Economic Forum. Holy shit, man. Just like, maybe I'm not reaching for the stars with nuclear fusion. Right? Here she is. Let's click on it and see what they say about her. Let's see if we can get that.
Good evening. I'm David Victor. I'm a professor of innovation and public policy at UC San Diego. I'm also co-chair of the World Economic Forum Global Future Council on Energy. It's really my pleasure to welcome you here tonight to this session on reaching for the stars with nuclear fusion, literally star power. With me to my immediate left is Kim Budil, who's the director of Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, very much in the news recently with this new announcement. We'll get to that in just a moment. And next to Kim is Philippe Konake, who is CEO of Orano, which is one of the world's most important nuclear fuels and materials companies, very familiar with the nuclear industry. Just a reminder, we are being live streamed and recorded, and they're reporting press in the room. So this is very much on the record, our discussions this evening. If you want to tweet and Instagram and do other things about tonight's session, good luck. But hashtag is WEF23. Hashtag, just please add that so that it connects into the larger WEF Twitter feed. So this is an extraordinary announcement after December 5th, just about a month ago, a little more than a month ago, about achieving ignition at your facility. So maybe we could start, Kim, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing at this facility and what the achievement was back in December, and then we'll continue on from there.
Sure. So the facility at my laboratory is called the National Ignition Facility. It's the world's largest, most energetic laser. So to put some context on that in terms of scale, the laser facility itself, the footprint is about the size of 3 American football fields, and the facility is 10 stories tall at its tallest extent. So that laser produces about 2 megajoules of laser energy that goes into the target. What we do with all that energy is we concentrate it down into a very small volume, so we get to extremely high temperatures and densities. And in the experiments we reported on from December 5th, we use a very small gold can. We focus 192 laser beams into that can to generate an X-ray bath. Those X-rays bathe a little tiny capsule that's in the center, about the size of a BB, that's filled with deuterium and tritium, hydrogen fuel. As the outer surface of that capsule, which is made out of diamond, blows off, the inner surface moves in. So as that surface moves in, it compresses the hydrogen fuel, and if you compress it fast enough to a high enough temperature and density and hold it together long enough, the fusion reactions start to become self-sustaining. So what we saw on that particular experiment is that we produced 3 megajoules of fusion energy for 2 megajoules of laser energy in, for a gain of about 1.5. So that's the first time in a laboratory that anyone has ever produced more fusion gain out than the energy put into the capsule.
Wow. Oh my God. Just fucking wow, man. Just wow. Right? And this, I mean, I just guessed that. So everything, and the leader or the main director, chairperson, head point person at CERN, or most of them, I think all of them, which are the Hadron Colliders as well, right? The Hadron Colliders. Those are ran by World Economic Forum people too. People, because all that funding comes from them, comes from those NGOs. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, George Soros, Rothschilds, all that money to create that. So we couldn't do that. If we all pitched in, and make sure it's monitored, because it's in the right hands, right? That I'm being facetious. I'm being extremely facetious, because this is everywhere. Where the fuck am I? Oh. This is everywhere. The World Economic Forum, from my research, which is pretty extensive, has their tentacles, and they are tentacles because they're fucking monsters, in everything big, everything ginormous, everything powerful, everything godlike. And this is why they have this mentality. They don't need you anymore. They're going to have fusion. They're going to have cold fusion. They're going to have whatever. They're going to have, they have everything they need at their disposal. You have a BB gun and you have an AR-15. They have the ability to create a planet, a sun, more energy and more heat than the sun. That's what this thing does. It actually produces more heat and more energy than pretty much everything in our solar system. You don't have that. They know you don't have that. The thing that I've always said in regards to the stopthewef.org is they no longer should be in charge of any of this stuff. I'm glad they put thank you for your money and all your other stuff, but you're not the people that should be in charge of this or monitoring it. Because let me give you this, and I'll make this short because this is the most important piece of what I'm going to say tonight, is they're not responsible people. These are people that start war and profit off of war. They create, orchestrate, and profit off of a war. The military-industrial complex has been doing this for decades, right? They create, through the pharmaceutical industry, diseases that they then take care of with, and addictions, and this is how they make their money. But they've made their money. They create chaos, right? So that they can profit from it. But it's not about that anymore. They don't need your money anymore. I know everybody wants to think, oh, they're just greedy fucking big pharma. No, it's the people pulling the strings are the people that don't fucking need you. They don't need you. I don't know what else to tell you. They don't fucking need you. They have a list of people already that's going to their party after they eliminate everybody off the planet, which they're doing, which they're trying to do now. They're full force domino effect ever since COVID came out.